Hello, heart-shaped world, and the old one, if anybody's listening. I hope one day. So, Clea Will, shout out. Appreciate you erasing me. Made me feel real good. So, yeah. How about some truth? Um, Today, I kind of like to stay lighthearted. I like positive energy. Uh, you know, um, so, and I'm all about skateboarding. I love skateboarding. I used to do that a lot back in the day. And there used to be this show called Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And so it's going to have to change to Mr. Rizal's Neighborhood. Oh, won't you be mine? Oh, won't you be the neighbor? So, world, you want to play a game? You like games, right? Because my game's the only one I'm going to play. All the rest of them are faulty shit. Because they're BS. So, my game is let's work together to make a better world that's filled with more love and positive things. That's why, in my world, I use English as the transitional language, let's say, just as an olive branch, But I added one letter. It's the heart, and it represents all of the ways of language and communication that we've lost, because back in the day, we used to speak with not just our mouths, but with touch, with sight, with sound, with smell, with feeling, with emotion, with experience. And it meant something. So I want to get into I really got to put this in context. So uh, here's the game. It's kind of like a truth and dare, right? So we got to dare to be brave and not let each other be tyrannized. At the same time, we have to figure out what's really what. Okay? What's true about us, about this place, about everything. There's one thing I can tell you for sure is a great majority of uh, everything that we once had put a lot of stock into ain't worth a dang. Just to put it that way. So I want to start out this. It's kind of like an anthropology of uh, of culture, social culture, those type of things. And one of the most important things, as I mentioned earlier, was these small group dynamics. And to be straight, and that's what I'm going to do, so we can try to get on the same page, or at least those that come after me will not have to repeat the same mistakes, let's say. So, growing up and all throughout my life, from a kid on to now, uh, there was always these mechanisms of dividing and subtracting the family, or those subtracting you or dividing you from that thing, those things that you loved. And I'm not saying that they were true or not true, uh, what was being said, but let's put it to the test, okay? And that's one of the main reasons why I came to Utah. And I 100% genuinely give gratitude, thanks, and a great reverence to the founders and the fundamentals of the Mormon Church. Because the polygamy thing, I know it's a negative thing, but it's gotten put a lot of negative things on it, but it's not. And I'm going to tell you, my grandma that raised me from Alabama, if you don't see that, it says Comanche. I always wanted to try to figure out where I was from, a little out of the box, like something don't mix here kind of thing. And she told me that I was Comanche. And one of the great chiefs of the Comanches was Quanah Parker. And one of the pervasive elements throughout the ancient world, the world of antiquity, not the one we just left, which didn't last very long. We could just call it Wayne's World. Terrible ending, by the way. Uh, Skate on, Wayne and Garth, but couldn't you have come up with something cooler and funner than that? I mean, come on. But yeah, so throughout the world of antiquity, there was always these different types of tribal and village, if you will, as well as familial and just localized different types of setups in regards to how things were ran, and it always promoted small group power dynamics. Okay, and so for example, one of the things that was terrible about this last world that we left was that every single major mechanism and gear was grinding against the small group dynamics. And the purpose of that is tyranny, plain and simple. Uh, Power plays of a very small, you know, group, let's say, and are kind of dispersed groups that can control everything based on manipulation, based on nefarious machinations and imaginations. And what I like to call this world, uh, really, to be straight with everybody, is the Lord of the Flies world. Anybody that's read the book, The Lord of the Flies, will know what I'm talking about. Uh, Now, I do want to kind of caveat this because these folks, uh, they don't know what the fuck's going on. And my best kind of example or kind of term I could use is that they're just winging it. They don't know nothing about nothing. It's basically like Lord of the Flies, like the power dynamics are golems. Okay, they forgot that the most important and powerful thing that you can do with power is give it away, is empower others. As many Give it to as many other peoples as you can, to the next generations, for example. They just gotten so wrapped up in it uh, that they can't even see what's right in front of them, or they've been so disconnected from the people for so long. that they just don't understand really much of anything. So it's kind of like a Lord of the Flies world, and then we just kind of got kind of snowballed, carried away. But I want to unburden some folks, because they've been burdened with this for far too long, right? And I really want to dedicate this first because I got to get some stuff off my chest. I don't know how much more time I got. So I do want to get a lot of stuff, not a lot, but just a little personal stuff off my chest. But I do want to dedicate this video to some folks that I don't want to name names on certain folks, but some folks I do because they really were an important part of my life. Antonio Gonzalez, I love you, man. Jose Antonio Gonzalez, 100%. Great friend. Rest in peace. Dustin, love you, man. Um, uh, Rest in peace. Jared Joseph Miller, you really played a real interesting part in my early days, man. And I did get your last letter, and man, I've tried everything. I wrote you. You said that you didn't get any of the letters. I went and put money on your books with back in when I was back in Cali with Catherine, and so she probably wouldn't vouch for me, but there were folks with me when I put money on your books. You said you didn't get it. Actually, to be straight about it, the only reason I applied up at Humboldt was because I saw that you were up there, right next to there, and I figured that I could go and start visiting with you and chatting with you again, and trying to see how you were doing, man. Uh, Rest in peace, Tim Lorimer, man. I don't know what all that stuff, that crazy stuff's about, but I love a lot of folks back there in Sonoma County, in Northern California and Humboldt. I love all y'all, man, and a lot of good folks out there. And I don't know what's going on out that way. There's something dark out there, but I hope we can remedy that at some point. Um, but there was also a real powerful Native individual that really inspired me in a lot of ways. I'm not going to put your name out there because I don't want you catching any heat for being associated with me, but you know who you are. Pomo Miwok, uh, even the Indians. All right. So, on to bigger things. This is really what I want to unburden some folks about. Is because, what they would do is they'd always, like, people that would come next or close would say things and do things to drive wedges in between people that you love. A lot of times that would be like your girlfriend or your wife or your spouse or whatever, right? And that was one of those things that they do to constantly pull you apart. And this is nothing new. This has been going on for a long time, to just obliterate small group dynamics down to nothingness. And uh, you know, this polygamy thing used to be uh, all different kinds of interesting interactions and ways. And in the Philippines, it's still legal for indigenous pagan groups and Muslims or Mohammedans, which is an interesting thing. And here in Utah, there's only one state in the whole continental U.S. that allows this ancient indigenous tradition, which is here in Utah. And I think that's because they protect the family unit, and they protect the ability for people to be different. If we live in a world that is entirely the same, everybody's the same, has to be the same way, that is, to me, the worst nightmare that this world could ever experience. Okay? We're supposed to have the freedom to practice whatever religion we want. There's supposed to be separation of church and state, which means that the government cannot get involved with whatever faith or religion that you believe in. So really, every state should be allowing the ability for families, for villages, for tribes to grow however which way they want. And so this is one of the things with the Comanches. The Comanches also practiced polygamy. Uh, they were a uh, huge tribe, Comancheria. That's why I really want to start a place that is safe for all American families. Me feeling the weight of these nasty gears crushing down and chewing up and spitting families out over and over again in California. I got a real love-hate relationship with you, but I don't really want to get into it because uh, I don't want to get emotional. But all I can say is how things went down with my grandparents and everything else. Uh, my other families, kids. You got some nasty stuff going on over there. I mean, it's been for quite some time now. I think I don't know, man. Gavin, you knew some, but not much. I won't go too far with that. But no, I'm not. I'm talking about the head honcho over there. Yeah. Uh, so yeah, what I need your help with is this little game. Let's figure out what's what and what's true. Because all I can say for certain is that a lot of heavy weights have uh, demonized little old me. Okay, and you could torture me all you want, but once you start bringing in family and kids and all that stuff, we're gonna have a problem, huge problem, huge. Um, and I'm super grateful for Utah. It's one of the only places that allowed families to stay together. And we're right here in this shelter over here in Midvale. So we're 100% grateful. And all my information, all my details are right there in the description. And you can come look for me. I'm willing to talk to anybody. I want to sit down and break bread with folks and try to figure out what the heck's going on. But here's the cut and dry of it, right? Because I'm tired of, I'm not going to just have this continue on and pass on to my kids and have them feel the same experience. If you think that I'm going to let that happen, you got another thing coming. And it might shorten my span, but I ain't down with it. So, America, world, me being a professional anthropologist, having a graduate degree and all that, uh, you know, my biggest hurdle, yeah, I 100% agree. Uh, my papo, who raised me, told me to be a straight shooter and raised me to be a straight shooter and tell it like it is, how I feel like it, what the truth is. After a full range of analysis and research, give it to them straight. And yeah, for whatever reason, the system don't like that. But uh, there's a whole host of nasty things said about me. Uh, None of them to my face or none of them in front of me. So everybody has my address. Y'all know where I'm at. I'm here in Utah in Midvale. You have my number. You come. Let's talk about it. Whether you want to talk about it in private or in public, let's see what's what. Okay. In my recollection of this whole analysis of things, and I'm sure there's a ton of other folks out there that have experienced this same thing. Uh, America, we're in a lot more trouble than we think. The world, in particular, actually, uh, we've been mind freak fucked. Excuse my language. I don't mean to be rude, but uh, there is a what you would call a large-scale psyop is what I would call it. And it's not by C.A. Chris Angel. It's by something bigger than that. Bigger than that. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. So let's help each other figure this thing out, right? So let's see. Anybody that said chases this, chases that, nasty things, bad, devil, demon, whatever kind of stuff. Let's test it out and I want to clear the air uh, because I feel like the truth needs to be straight about it. Okay. Charles Augustus Markham III is the name they gave me on the paper. Birth date 1116, 1982. They said Santa Rosa, California. Uh, I was raised, if you ask me, by Alabama in California. I don't know how that happens. By Mobile up. There's a lot of strange stuff. Help me figure it out. Help me figure it out. I've been trying to help everybody figure out all the BS that's, we've been missing. So y'all can maybe help me out. My mother, Rosemary. Yes, I'm Rosemary's baby. So anybody that follows Hollywood, yeah. And they've been pushing that ideal on me forever now. I don't know if it's some sort of Luciferian thing, if it's some sort of, devil spawn thing, if it's some sort of, crazy thing like that. But in my in my full analysis, I think it's a manufactured uh, uh, script, and they want me to play this role that I'm not interested in playing because I believe in the higher power. I believe in Jesus. I believe in a lot of the other teachers as well, and the most recent being Dr. Jose Rizal. So there's a lot of real uh, things that really contradict with that ideal. But let's test them, right? Let's test them. If that was true, because it's been pushed. I mean, I'll tell you what. Every single receipt, everything digital from tech and all that stuff, all comes up with those numbers all day long. That pushing that on me, that 666 thing. And so if it's not a script, and there is some group out there that believes that or that's doing that, bring me everything. Come to me. Come here. Come now. Bring me your maidens and all the things that you think that have value or worth. Let's see if they show up. I bet you they won't. How about you, Hollywood? All I can tell you is that uh, since I was a kid, I haven't been interested in playing any of the games that's been attempted to play with, and all along the whole time, I haven't been interested up until this point. But if you know something I don't, and that's a real thing that you've been pushing out there, show up. I'm just right here in Utah. I've been hanging out in California. I didn't see y'all anywhere. Show up. Let's see if they show up. There's a lot of people talking trash, saying all these things about Nazis and KKK and all this stuff. I don't know nothing about that. I never met any, but not even one person like that ever brought anything like that to me. But I heard people saying stuff like that about it. So let's see if any of those folks show up. Come on, show up. If there's something to that about that, come on, bring everything that you got. Get all the troopers out there. You come right here and let's talk about it. Let's see what's what. All I can tell you is I got one citizenship. It's American. I love George Washington, and I think we should have listened to him about the two-party system. That's all I got to say about that. Let's see if any of those folks show up. I bet you they won't, because it's this thing that they push about demonizing good people, good folks that are straight shooters, and that can decipher all that crazy nonsense that they're spitting out. So here's where I'm going to unburden folks, and all the people that I've spoken with. I love y'all, and I thank y'all for having the time with y'all. And I would never betray anything that we've talked about behind closed doors or anything like that. You should know me better than that. But I do think that the fact that a good American family that was trying to protect the founding principles and values of this country and what it was built on, and truth and honesty, uh, to be tyrannized like this, you really need to ask for all the help you can get in any way to try to figure this thing out, this puzzle, this mystery out, because I can't do it by myself. Uh, so yeah, those are kind of things that that I'm about. If you really ask me, if you really went down to my core, what I would say is 100% indigenous. You know, Alabaman and indigenous. I feel most comfortable with indigenous peoples and those types of things in different ways, and I feel totally out of like a fish out of water in this system that you've built. Uh, And so that's why I'm just asking for what in the Bible God promised, which is every being would have a vine and fig tree to rest up under, and nothing or no one would make them afraid. That's all I'm asking for my tribe, my family, and allow us to grow and thrive and in any kind of way that we want to. So that's why I want to unburden folks that have been trying to protect this crazy ass uh, secret. And I want to ask for parlay and favor from groups that control places that I love, like the Philippines. Uh, I really like to do some research. I just want to be an anthropologist. And, like in the Vatican, I'd really like to see some of those records you got over there and whatnot. And I really want to build bridges and collaborate with all different kinds of groups, right? So here's my ask is be honest with the folks of the Philippines and elsewhere, and allow for things like different tribal structures, village structures, family structures. Uh, there's uh, there's some real collaboration and connection points there with places like. So I want to show those, like here in Utah, the last state that allows that. I haven't seen it here yet. I've been only in the city, but I think it's an important thing to protect, such as the Comanches had that cultural component, and uh, and be honest about how certain places of the world allow uh, polygamy in the Catholic Church, not just with its flock, but with its priestly class, all the way on down. Interestingly enough, it's in the majority of the places that have the oldest churches, oldest Christian churches. So I think that we should just be open and universal about things like that, you know? allow small power group dynamics to flourish and to thrive. I mean, wouldn't you want your flock to grow and be happy and productive in any way it is? You know, help fellow folks there in the Philippines uh, uh, get out of poverty and whatnot. So yeah, if it's allowed in some places in certain Christian sects and faiths and everything, it should be allowed everywhere in the world, right? And so yeah, I don't know. People like I don't know what they're saying. Like I don't have any prejudices against anybody. So I don't know why I've been uh, singled out in the way I have. Uh, the sins of the ancestor, if the ancestor, if there was any, is not the sins of the child. What are you going to do? Kill off every single generation of a family, of a people, and torture them and humiliate them for an eternity? So that leads to something interesting that I'd like to get off my chest as well, which is we're not alone. As much as the science and academia want to make you think that it's just Homo sapiens sapien, the most brilliant of the brilliant of the brilliant of the monkeys. There's others still with us, and yeah, we're the whole host of them is probably on the brink of extinction. And there's a good reason that they want them to go extinct, uh, because it's probably they go against the grain of their narrative. Uh, but yeah, um, that's another story, and I want to dedicate, just everything I do to uh, my grandma Rose, Nana, Papo, uh, and that's the last personal thing I'm going to say about this is that the only man, the only person that I 100% for certain know always looked me in my eye and told me uh, genuinely everything that he possibly could was my papa. Out of every single being, every interaction, that was the most genuine, great individual that I've ever interacted with in my entire life. And I don't care what anybody else says. Uh, Me and him sat down across from that kitchen table at 421 Surrey Drive, and it's the only time I've sat with a man of his stature, and we both cried and didn't have to say nothing. After that, we both knew, and I told him that we would not be able, we wouldn't see each other again. This was the last time, and two grown men exchanging emotion and crying like that. It was one of the most beautiful but heart wrenching things ever. And his desire to say things to me and to witness his inability to say those things in the presence of others, even though it was the last time we were together, is was one of the most difficult things for me to swallow. Uh, But I don't. I just wanted to live in peace. To be honest with everybody, I always wanted to be left alone. But there is some group, some element that uh, just will not leave, will not stop trying to starve me and my family, no matter where I go in the world. And the fact that that's allowed, in my opinion, is absolutely uh, heinous. Because the tyranny of one is the tyranny of all. The tyranny of one way is the tyranny of all ways. So anybody says that in the future, I know I'm just a nobody, I'm just a ghost, but anybody that also experiences this in the future, okay, let's just say, uh, uh, oh, he's prejudiced for this reason or that reason. Okay, now I'm somewhere where any color, any nation, any sect, any religion, anything, any group, any order can come to me and be a part of my tribe, be a part of my family, and it can grow any way it wants to. So if you want to test that, if you really want to see, uh, come one, come all. Let's see if anybody shows up. Uh, yeah, I guess if nobody shows up, that means I'm right. That this is just some, uh, what do you call it, psyop that's been taking place on uh, probably the entirety of the populace, uh, trying to finish off this nasty storyline of there having to be a necessity of demons and uh, of nasty, bad individuals that want to end the world in some sort of horrific way, which I don't believe in for a second. But if I'm wrong, I guess there'll be a bunch of folks that show up, bunch of beautiful young maidens that'll show up, and a bunch of demonic trolls that'll come and bring suitcases of gold and everything else, and I guess like that'll be a thing, right? Otherwise, good American people are being tyrannized, and the only thing that could stop it is other good Americans. Me, my family, my children are in a homeless shelter in Utah. I believe because I stood up for our core values, our fundamentals, our founding fathers and mothers. And I was against their destruction, and I was against that hoax. I'm not even going to talk about it. So uh, let's see what's what. Might be the last time I ever say anything, but might just be the first time. So come on with it. Let's all sit down and break bread. Let's shoot shit with each other. Let's talk straight, right? I don't care. Any part of the world. Come on. Let's all come sit down. Let's talk about it. Let's help each other. Let's do something good. I mean, I got a lot of I'd like to really talk about in regards to the truths of religion and faith and the stories and but I'm just gonna save that for another time. But I just do think that uh, y'all need to stop it over there. Uh, the tribes, you're looking for them. I just want to know where the Solomonites are. Where's Solomon? Why was he shoved out of there? Where is he now? Because I know almost every everybody I know and met and all the research I've done gives great reverence for him. And he was he was always revered and given great importance and value from the Arab cultures, Muslim cultures, Christian cultures, and everywhere in between. I just think we need to look at the truth and stop killing one another, stop tyrannizing one another, and start lifting each other up. All right. Well, I love you guys, man. You take care. I'm hiding enough for now, but uh, maybe we'll get back into it another day. I'm just real tired, and actually, I'm pretty beat up and worn down.